Thank you to everyone who participated in the NWR eShop code giveaway. We have more contests planned over the next few weeks, so make sure to subscribe to NWR TV so that you don't miss your opportunity to win an eShop code. However, without further ado, here are the top 10 trials, tribulations, and triumphs of owning a Nintendo game cartridge or console. I was cleaning out my basement when I stumbled across a Super Mario Bros. Cartridge. The thing is, we never owned an NES growing up, and I still have the game but no NES to play it on. I lost my copy of Metal Gear Ghost Babel for Game Boy Color years ago. I went through all the stuff under my bed, and as I was about to toss a pair of older Too Small sneakers, out pops the game cartridge from one of them. It was right under me the entire time while I slept. Back in the 90s, my brother and I would play the crap out of a copy of Demon's Crest for SNES that we borrowed from a friend in exchange for our second copy of Link to the Past. When our friend wanted his game back, we switched out the interior game board within the game cartridge with the Zelda game's interior and returned it back. He never said a thing. Back in high school, a friend of mine borrowed my copy of Mortal Kombat 2 for the SNES. His mom, who was very religious, found the cartridge and fatality'd it into pieces. My friend was mortified and I was bummed out. I didn't get all crappy about it, and I understood, but he insisted on giving me his copy of Super Mario All-Stars, which, as much as I loved Mortal Kombat 2, is the superior game. He eventually got another copy of All-Stars, so don't feel too bad for him. I worked sanitation years ago. One time a bag accidentally ripped open and spilled in the road. While cleaning it up, I found a copy of Batman for the original Game Boy. I took it home, played it, and it works perfectly. Jokingly, we refer to it as Garbage Batman. I put Xenoblade Chronicles, Mario Kart Wii, and Radiant Dawn into my Wii, and afterwards all came out scratched and will not play. After much investigation, I discovered my 1-year-old decided the Wii was a piggy bank, put $7 worth of quarters into it, and has since ruined every game I've owned. My dad has to travel constantly due to work. Back in 2013, I had recently received my original 3DS as a gift, the day before I received my copy of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I got the box, opened it as fast as I could, and ran upstairs to start hunting some monsters. Except I couldn't find my 3DS anywhere. I had to look in every corner in the house, and I was pretty sure it was stolen by the point my dad called me to tell me that he had it. Somehow he packed it by mistake. I remembered about Street Pass, so I asked my dad to buy a charger and taught him how to receive them in the plaza. 2 months later, my 3DS returned, filled with Street Pass from all over Western Europe and Asia. Long story short, my 3DS traveled around the world. One day I used the bathroom in a Toys R Us. I took out my 3DS out of my pocket so it wouldn't slip and fall into the bathroom floor. That night I went to get some glasses-free 3D action, and I couldn't find my 3DS. I looked everywhere and couldn't find it. Then I realized where it was. I hopped in the car and drove like a man on fire to the Toys R Us, which was 20 minutes away and was the longest drive of my life. I got there and they had it at the front desk waiting for me. If it wasn't for the fact that I left it in the bathroom for several hours, I would have kissed it. A few years back, my mom gave me a conspicuously familiar shaped box wrapped in some seriously crusty yellow gift wrap for my birthday. Upon opening it, I was surprised to find a brand new copy of The Goonies 2 for NES. This is both endearing and slightly weird because I haven't had a functioning NES in a very long time. I come to find out my brothers and I were supposed to have received said treasure 25 years ago for Christmas, but my mom misplaced it and then replaced it with something else. Lo and behold, it was tucked away in their attic, and once she found it, she thought I'd appreciate it after all that time. And you know what? I do. While I loaded my kids into the car for a trip to their grandparents' house, I popped my daughter's 2DS on the roof of the car. Surely I wouldn't regret this decision, I thought. I never do dumb stuff. Well, I was wrong on both accounts. I regretted it, and I certainly do commit acts of incompetence. While it wasn't long before I realized my mistake, it wasn't quick enough. I looped back around, carefully driving back the way I came. When I arrived at my starting point, I dug up the courage to ask a homeless man who had been rifling through my recycling bin for cans and bottles if he had seen a fallen item on the road. He was upset that I interrupted his rummaging and left without saying anything. Maybe he found it. Perhaps I unknowingly made a new fan of Nintendo. Somewhere out there is a drifter, turning in old bottles and cans for change that he puts towards 3DS games. At least there's someone out there still happy about Nintendo's commitment to the platform.